In the bustling city of Hong Kong, a dedicated police sergeant named Lee Chung, he found solace in his role as a protector of justice. Life had dealt him a bittersweet hand, as he was not only a widower, but also the loving father of a bright young girl named Lee Yong-chi. Together, they carved out a semblance of normalcy, their bond radiating with joy and contentment. On the eve of Yong-chi's 17th birthday, Chung-hee eagerly planned a special evening, intending to shower his daughter with affection and create treasured memories. Their destination was a quaint restaurant, where delectable aromas wafted through the air, teasing their senses. A carefully chosen gift awaited Yong-chi, a symbol of his unwavering love for her. However, fate had a different script in mind. Just as Chung-hee prepared to revel in their intimate celebration, Yong-chi took him aback by introducing a mysterious young man named Harry. This unexpected intrusion marred the purity of the occasion, as the father-daughter duo should have reveled in their exclusive bond. It appeared that Harry had become an integral part of Yong-chi's life over the past 4 months, and now he stood before Chung-hee, a stranger who had captured his daughter's heart. To Chung-hee's astonishment, Harry's intentions became even more startling. With a resolute tone, Harry professed his desire to marry Yong-chi and assured Chung-hee that he would protect and cherish her with utmost care. This declaration left Chung-hee perplexed. After all, they were still too young to embark on such a lifelong commitment. The confusion mounted as Yong-chi, with a heavy heart, revealed that she was carrying a child, leaving Chung-hee utterly shocked and on the verge of scolding his daughter. Yet, instead of succumbing to anger, Chung-hee opted for a different approach. Excusing himself momentarily, he headed to the restroom, deliberately leaving the young couple alone. Upon his return, Chung-hee was greeted by 2 of his fellow policemen, who sought his attention. Without hesitation, Chung-hee gestured towards Harry, prompting his comrades to swiftly apprehend him on charges of underage sexual abuse. Witnessing her beloved boyfriend's arrest, Yong-chi's screams pierced the air, consumed by overwhelming hysteria. In the midst of the chaotic scene, Chung-hee mustered all his strength to soothe and quieten his distraught daughter, mindful of the public setting they found themselves in. The scene changes to the bustling city of Pattaya in Thailand, its vibrant energy pulsating through the streets. Amidst this backdrop, we meet Choiji, a diligent and dedicated policeman who finds himself immersed in a deeply personal moment. With tender care, he checks his wife Nee's growing belly, anxiously awaiting the arrival of their unborn child. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm glow over the city, Choiji and Nai join her father, Rong, for a heartwarming family dinner. Rong, a man of authority as the commissioner of Pattaya Police, wears an unmistakable expression of joy. The news of May's pregnancy fills his heart with immense happiness as he envisions the forthcoming arrival of his first grandchild. 2 weeks after apprehending Harry, Chung-hee, a brave police officer, found himself in a tense situation. Yong-chi, who had witnessed the arrest, was deeply saddened and disappointed by Chung-hee's actions. Overwhelmed by her emotions, she made a decision to seek solace in the picturesque city of Pattaya, Thailand. There she planned to meet her female cousin, who owned a tattoo studio. However, fate had other plans in store for Yong-chi, as misfortune struck when she was kidnapped while aimlessly strolling along the sandy shores. In a desperate attempt to seek help, she managed to activate the emergency call button on her phone despite her disoriented state. Meanwhile, back in Hong Kong, Chung-hee, burdened by guilt and concern, received an unexpected call from his niece, Lisa, residing in Pattaya. Lisa informed him that Yong-chi had arrived in Thailand and had reached out to her 2 days ago. Alas, now Yong-chi's phone had gone silent, and she had not returned to her hotel. Panic surged through Chung-hee as he immediately boarded a flight to Pattaya. In a race against time, Chung-hee arrived at the hotel where Yong-chi had been staying, accompanied by Lisa, who anxiously awaited their arrival. Without wasting a moment, they entered Yong-chi's rented room, hoping to find clues that would unravel the mystery. As Chung-hee meticulously inspected every inch of the room, his heart sank. Everything appeared pristine and undisturbed, from the neatly arranged notes to the belongings scattered about. Most tellingly, Yong-chi's suitcase remained untouched, suggesting she hadn't left Thailand. A wave of unease washed over him, prompting Chung-hee to take immediate action. He dialed the Pattaya police, reporting the distressing disappearance of his beloved daughter. Before long, Detective Choi-ji arrived on the scene, greeted by one of his trusted colleagues, Alung. Eager to assist, Alung briefed Choi-ji about the case involving a young girl from Hong Kong who had vanished 3 days prior, with her worried family now present in Thailand. Despite their thorough search of local hospitals, there was no trace of the missing girl. In a crucial turn of events, Choi-ji finally crossed paths with Chung-hee, leading to a pivotal exchange of information. Chung-hee revealed his own profession as a fellow policeman, instantly fostering a connection between them. Despite being a resident of Hong Kong, Choi-ji effortlessly found common ground with Chung-hee. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Choi-ji extended an invitation to the Pattaya police station, intending to delve deeper into the investigation surrounding Yang Chi's disappearance. Eager to assist, Chung-hee willingly accepted, eager to contribute any useful details. Following their interaction, Choi-ji shifted his focus towards Lisa, hoping to gather more insights into Yang Chi's circumstances. Lisa willingly shared her knowledge, unveiling Yang Chi's intentions to seek solace and find inner peace during her vacation in Pattaya. Each night, she would visit Lisa's tattoo studio, seeking comfort in their bond. However, their routine abruptly halted on the third day, leaving a void of unanswered questions and mounting concerns. In a desperate attempt to gather more information, Choi-ji pressed Chung-hee once again, mentioning Yang Chi's boyfriend, who had been apprehended by Chung-hee in the past. Lisa had shared this crucial detail before Yang Chi's disappearance. However, Chung-hee vehemently denied any connection between the boyfriend's arrest and Yang Chi vanishing, insisting it was unrelated. Choi-ji speculated that Yang Chi might have deliberately evaded Chung-hee, but Chung-hee stood firm, arguing that the evidence in Yang Chi's room pointed towards a possible abduction. Driven by his paternal instincts, Chung-hee expressed his impatience and desire to join forces with Choi-ji in the investigation of his daughter's case. Recognizing Chung-hee's determination, Choi-ji agreed and presented him with the official investigation task license, solidifying their partnership. As they awaited further developments, an unexpected encounter unfolded. Another police detective named Tak emerged, forcibly bringing in a suspect to the police station. In a shocking turn of events, the apprehended criminal fiercely resisted, leading Tak to resort to physical force in subduing the individual. Amidst the commotion, Tak accidentally dropped his glasses near Chung-hee. Quick to react, Chung-hee picked them up and handed them back to Tak. As Tak reached out to express his gratitude, his expression suddenly shifted to surprise. It turned out that Tak possessed a unique gift, as he was once a monk who had become a policeman. Apart from his impressive martial arts skills, Tak had the uncanny ability to see glimpses of the future with remarkable accuracy. In that moment, Tak sensed an overwhelming anger within Chung-hee's heart. Moreover, Tak immediately intuited that Chung-hee had a history of taking lives. Deeply affected by this revelation, Tak fell silent and turned to Choi-ji, seeking more information about Chung-hee. In a brief exchange, Choi-ji provided a summary of Chung-hee's background and the case involving his missing daughter. In an attempt to lighten the mood, Tak tried to inject some humor into the conversation, but an unsettling feeling consumed him. He couldn't shake the premonition that something ominous loomed ahead if Choi-ji continued to stay in close proximity to Chung-hee. Under the cover of darkness, Lisa led Chung-hee to her tattoo studio, a realm of ink and artistry. There she unveiled a perplexing revelation. Yang Chi had engraved an inscription onto her own hand before disappearing. The words, written in Spanish, carried a poignant meaning: goodbye. Puzzled and concerned, Chung-hee questioned why Yang Chi would choose to permanently mark her body. In response, Yang Chi firmly asserted that her body belonged to her alone, leaving Chung-hee lost for words, grappling with the weight of her statement. Meanwhile, in a grand ballroom located in downtown Pattaya, Mayor Aziz took center stage, preparing to announce his bid for re-election as the city's mayor. A press conference poised to shape the city's future unfolded before him. Just moments before the event commenced, Ming Chai, the astute political consultant and deputy mayor of Pattaya, arrived to provide support. They engaged in last-minute rehearsals, fine-tuning their speeches with meticulous care, aware of the high stakes involved in their political endeavors. As Ming Shai made his way to the stage, an unexpected turn of events unfolded. His men reported that Major Azis had suddenly collapsed, gasping for breath. In a race against time, Ming Shai urgently summoned a doctor and rushed to Major Azis' side, witnessing his deteriorating condition. Thinking quickly, Ming Shai cleverly disguised Major Azis' exit from the ballroom, arranging a stack of chairs to shield their movements. To heighten the chaos and divert attention, Ming Shai activated the fire emergency alarm, leaving the perplexed journalists in a state of confusion. Soon after, one of Ming Shai's staff members approached the bewildered reporters, explaining that a security system issue necessitated the abrupt cancellation of the event. Later, at the hospital, Ming Shai received the grim news from the doctor. Major Azis had suffered a heart attack. Desperate to save him, the doctor emphasized that surgery was the only viable option. Meanwhile, Chung-hee and Choi-ji embarked on their own mission, meticulously examining the CCTV footage from nearby convenience stores and restaurants, hoping to uncover any clue that could shed light on Yang Chi's disappearance. As the investigation unfolded, Choi-ji diligently questioned the street thugs, hoping to extract any valuable information. Meanwhile, Chung-hee sought assistance from a woman named Jeannie, who worked in the sex trade and spoke Chinese. However, to his surprise, Jin had propositioned him instead of providing any relevant details. Undeterred, Chung-hee persisted, repeatedly inquiring if she had encountered Yang Chi. Though it seemed that Jeannie held some knowledge, she denied having seen Yang Chi, leaving Chung-hee with more questions than answers. Eager to uncover clues, Chung-hee turned his attention to the CCTV footage from a nearby convenience store. There he made a breakthrough discovery, a glimpse of Yang Chi shopping. What caught his attention, however, was the presence of an individual donning a hat, discreetly following Yang Chi's every move. Eager to share this crucial finding, Chung-hee presented the CCTV footage to Choi-ji, solidifying their resolve. Their next move was clear, to scrutinize the CCTV footage from the opposite building, hoping to unveil the face of the mysterious figure in the hat. The following day, Choi-ji led Chung-hee to a specific location, instructing him to wait in the car. As Chung-hee watched the CCTV footage, he spotted the hat-wearing individual entering a billiard hall. Seizing the moment, Chung-hee swiftly confronted the person, triggering a chaotic scene within the establishment. To his surprise, Choi-ji arrived, witnessing Chung-hee already engaged in a fight. Both men noticed the hat-wearing individual attempting to escape, captured on the CCTV footage. Determined not to let him slip away, Choi-ji sprang into action, pursued closely by Chung-hee. Their relentless chase led them to the sea, where the elusive figure attempted to evade capture by leaping into the water. Eventually, the man, identified as Tong, was apprehended and brought to the police station. Confronted with the incriminating evidence from the CCTV footage, Tong was compelled to reveal the motive behind his pursuit of Yang Chi. However, to their surprise, Choi-ji informed Chung-hee that Tong had a solid alibi, casting doubt on his involvement in Yang Chi's disappearance. During the investigation, it was revealed that Tong had been out of town when Yang Chi disappeared, establishing an alibi for him. However, when Choi-ji inquired about Tong's motives for following Yang Chi, an unsettling truth emerged. Tong was a notorious pervert who took pleasure in voyeuristic behavior and harassing girls before fleeing the scene. Shockingly, Choi-ji presented a photo on Tong's phone that captured illicit images of Yang Chi's underwear, exposing his predatory tendencies. Incensed by Tong's actions, Chung-hee's anger boiled over, resulting in him unleashing a violent outburst. It became evident that Chung-hee had a volatile temper, especially given his current state of distress, with Yang Chi still missing. Both Tak and Choi-ji struggled to calm Chung-hee, recognizing the precariousness of his emotional state. While Tak sympathized with Chung-hee, he held concerns about the future, fearing that Chung-hee may cause harm to Choi-ji. As a gesture of protection, Tak presented an amulet and advised Choi-ji to wear it as a safeguard. The narrative takes a chilling turn as the focus shifts to a seemingly ordinary meat processing and food packaging factory. However, unbeknownst to the world, this unassuming facade masks a dark secret. The factory is, in fact, a hub for human trafficking and the illegal trade of organs. Its proprietor, Sasa, a former Russian mercenary and hardened criminal, has made Pattaya his base of operations. In a shocking twist, Ming Chai enters Sasa's office, delivering a hefty sum of money in a large envelope, signaling a sinister transaction. Meanwhile, in a hidden location, a basement becomes a haunting prison for numerous young girls, their lives held captive. Among them is Yongqi, trapped in this nightmarish reality. In an unsettling parallel, Junkie, on his way back to the hotel, inadvertently stumbles upon Alung escorting Jinny into a car. As days turned into weeks, the bond between Junkie and Choiji grew stronger, united in their shared mission to locate Yongqi. Together, they tirelessly combed through the streets of Pattaya, seeking any shred of information that could lead them to her. Amidst their quest, Chung-hee's path intersected with a towering Buddha statue, serving as a stark reminder of his guilt and remorse. In that solemn moment, the weight of his actions weighed heavily on his conscience as he recalled the painful truth he had once coerced Yongqi into terminating a pregnancy. In a heart-stopping turn of events, Choiji received a phone call from his fellow officer, informing him of the discovery of a girl's body on the beach. Urgently, they rushed to the location, their anxiety mounting. As they arrived at the scene, Chung-hee's pulse raced, fearing the worst. With trepidation, he unveiled the lifeless form of the young girl, concealed beneath a cloth. Relief washed over him as he realized it was not Yongqi. Filled with desperation, Chung-hee seized his cell phone, realizing the presence of numerous reporters in the vicinity. In a heartfelt plea, he announced that his daughter had been missing for 6 agonizing days, urging anyone with information to contact the police immediately. With tears welling in his eyes, Chung-hee humbled himself, dropping to his knees, and implored the journalists for their assistance. Witnessing this raw display of anguish, Choiji's heart ached in empathy, unable to fathom the depths of Chung-hee's despair. Suddenly, a call interrupted their journey to the office. Nai, Chung-hee's wife, was in distress and pleading. In a race against time, Chung-hee urgently sought Choiji's support in summoning an ambulance for Nai's immediate aid, while Choiji liaised with Nai, assuring her of his imminent arrival at the hospital. Chung-hee watched in awe and sorrow as Choiji sang a comforting melody, a song that held special significance, a melody they had often serenaded their unborn child. Deep within Chung-hee's heart, painful memories resurfaced, the tragic loss of his wife. Regret consumed him, knowing that he had allowed his wife to drive the car that fateful day. The weight of that tragedy lingered, forever impacting him and leaving him wary of entering into a new marriage. The scars of that event remained etched in his soul, a constant reminder of the irreplaceable loss he had endured. In due time, Chung-hee and Choiji reached the hospital, their hopes high as they arrived. Overwhelmed with joy, Chung-hee witnessed the sight of Choiji's wife and newborn baby in good health. The scene brought warmth to his heart, offering a glimmer of solace amidst the tumultuous circumstances surrounding Yongqi's disappearance. In the midst of personal triumph elsewhere, Commissioner Rong met with Ming Chai at Major Ez's residence. Ming Chai had deliberately summoned Commissioner Rong, seeking his support in Mayor Az's re-election campaign for the position of Pathaya's mayor. Inside Major Az's room, Commissioner Rong's eyes widened as he observed the truth behind the mayor's absence from the public eye. Determined to unravel the mystery, Ming Chai invited Commissioner Rong to the balcony. Commissioner Rong confronted Ming Chai, seeking answers as to why he had been informed about Major Az's condition. Ming Chai, acknowledging their friendship, admitted that he was aware of Commissioner Rong's current investigation by the Corruption Division Police regarding a bribery case. However, Ming Chai assured Commissioner Rong that he would intervene and resolve the matter. This revelation left Commissioner Rong suspicious, realizing that Ming Chai's assistance came at a price. Curious, he inquired about Ming Chai's ulterior motives. With a smile, Ming Chai expressed his desire for the Hong Kong police's investigation into his missing daughter to be closed. He requested Commissioner Rong to persuade his son-in-law, Choi-ji, to refrain from assisting Chung-hee. Ming Che's warning about Commissioner Rong soon becoming a grandfather struck a nerve, catching Commissioner Rong off guard with the implicit threat embedded within his words. As Chung-hee's desperate search for his daughter intensifies, the Thai media becomes consumed with the news of the Hong Kong police's pursuit of Yang Chi. In a twist of fate, a vigilant taxi driver catches wind of the story and experiences a jolt of recognition. Convinced that he had encountered Yang Chi, the driver carefully reviews the footage captured by his car's camera, validating his belief. Eager to contribute to the investigation, he promptly submits the video to the local police station, providing a glimmer of hope in the quest to find Yang Chi. Meanwhile, a battered and bruised Jeannie roams the streets, her appearance reflecting the torment she has endured. Along, whom she trusted, has subjected her to vicious abuse due to his distorted sexual tendencies. Trapped by her knowledge that Along himself is a police officer, Jeannie is unable to report the crimes she has suffered. In her vulnerable state, as she contemplates returning home, fate intervenes, bringing her face to face with Chung-hee, who continues to navigate the community, tirelessly seeking any lead that could bring him closer to his missing daughter. In a desperate plea, Jeannie called out to Chung-hee, confessing that she had indeed encountered Yang Chi. However, her words were tinged with a request for monetary compensation. Suspicion clouded Chung-hee's mind, assuming that Jeannie was merely exploiting the situation for personal gain. Dismissing her pleas, he continued on his way, oblivious to the tears streaming down Jeannie's face as she persisted in her claims. Moved by Jeannie's distress, Chung-hee halted in his tracks, finally giving her his attention. Assuring him that her intentions were genuine, she admitted her desperate need for money, but insisted on the truth of her revelation. Jeannie recounted an encounter she had 6 days prior, aboard a public transportation vehicle near the seaside. In vivid detail, she revealed how she witnessed Along, a police officer, apprehending Yang Chi, who had been lost in her own thoughts on the beach. Surprised and grateful, Chung-hee realized that he had stumbled upon a valuable piece of information regarding his daughter's whereabouts through Jeannie's unexpected disclosure. With a calculated plan in mind, Chung-hee patiently waited for Along's car outside the Pattaya police station the following day. Seizing the moment, Chung-hee approached Along, requesting a ride. Displaying a marked location on his map, Chung-hee guided Along towards their destination, feigning a harmless errand. Oblivious to Chung-hee's true intentions, Along cheerfully complied, unaware that he had become the subject of suspicion. Upon reaching their designated spot, Chung-hee revealed that someone had claimed his daughter had been abducted from this very location. The atmosphere grew tense as Chung-hee confronted Along with unwavering determination, causing fear to grip Along's heart. Anxious for answers, Along pressed Chung-hee to disclose the source of his information. In a twist of fate, Jeannie arrived at the scene, and without hesitation, Chung-hee unleashed a brutal assault on Along, venting his rage within the confines of the car. Meanwhile, Choi-ji delved into the archives of the Pattaya police's CCTV footage, hoping to find a clue. To his astonishment, he discovered a crucial video that had been deleted, coinciding with the day of Yang Chi's disappearance. Determined to uncover the truth, Choi-ji swiftly sought answers from the Information Technology Division. The officer there revealed 2 possibilities. Either the video had been damaged or deliberately erased by fellow police officers. Fueled by this revelation, Choi-ji urged the officer to trace the IP address of the individual who uploaded the video. Armed with the address of the video's uploader, Choi-ji hurried to the location, a residence occupied by none other than the taxi driver. However, his frustration mounted as his car unexpectedly broke down. Fortunately, Tak arrived at the police station at that very moment. Seizing the opportunity, Choi-ji implored Tak to accompany him to the bustling housing estate where the taxi driver resided. In a synchronized twist of fate, Sasa's men, upon receiving information from Along, set out to intercept the taxi driver holding crucial evidence of Yang Chi's kidnapping. Simultaneously, Tak and Choi-ji arrived at the scene. However, their ill fortune continued as Tak's car also broke down. Seizing the advantage, Sasa's gang located the taxi driver and ruthlessly assaulted him, demanding the video file pertaining to Yang Chi's abduction. Meanwhile, Choiji reached the designated apartment, number 57, only to be greeted by an imposing guard stationed outside. A sense of unease enveloped him as he pounded on the door, prompting the distressed taxi driver to call for help. The guard, a henchman under Sasa's command, launched an aggressive attack against Choiji. Sensing the threat, Sasa quickly retrieved a flash drive, intending to destroy the incriminating evidence by damaging the computer. A fierce confrontation erupted as Choiji valiantly fought against Sasa and his cohorts, culminating in a gunshot that reverberated through the air, beckoning Tak's immediate attention. In a thrilling turn of events, Tak arrived just in the nick of time, thwarting Sasa's attempt to flee. Determined to bring him to justice, Tak engaged in a heated confrontation with Sasa, but the cunning criminal managed to elude capture. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Choiji emphasized the importance of apprehending Sasa, prompting him to pursue the fleeing fugitive. Meanwhile, two of Sasa's accomplices chose to flee but were swiftly apprehended by Choiji. On the other hand, Tak relentlessly pursued Sasa, who sought refuge on the apartment's rooftop. A fierce battle ensued between the two adversaries, yet Tak showcased his superior fighting skills, gaining the upper hand. Unexpectedly, Sasa's desperation led him to attempt a treacherous act. He endangered innocent children by throwing them as a diversion. Acting on instinct, Tak leaped into action, saving a child from peril. However, Sasa seized this opportunity to push Tak, causing him to plummet from the apartment rooftop. In a dramatic turn of events, Choiji, who was positioned below the apartment, witnessed Tak's helpless state. Recalling the amulet that Tak had entrusted to him, Choiji realized there was hope. With urgency in his actions, Choiji retrieved the amulet and used it to save Tak's life, despite the severity of his injuries. The amulet's significance as a symbol of protection and luck became evident in this critical moment. Meanwhile, in an abandoned structure, Chung-hee confronted Along, inflicting brutal blows in an attempt to extract information about Yang Chi's whereabouts. Despite the intense physical coercion, Along stubbornly refused to disclose the location. Desperate, Chung-hee appealed to Along's sense of family, imploring him to understand the depth of his own love for his loved ones. Chung-hee pleaded for Along's assistance, emphasizing that Yang Chi was his last remaining family member. However, Along remained unmoved, leaving Chung-hee disheartened and consumed by anger. Consumed by rage, Chung-hee resorted to blindfolding himself with his shirt and wielding an iron hammer. He struck Along randomly, evoking fearful screams from his captive. Overwhelmed by terror, Along finally yielded, revealing crucial information about Yang Chi. He confessed to being burdened by gambling debts, which drove him to kidnap her. Along expressed remorse, explaining that he had delivered Yang Chi to Sasa's sinister human organ trafficking syndicate. Disturbingly, he confessed that he had only transported and sold her. Simultaneously, Ming Chai embarked on a mission to retrieve the girl he had purchased from Sasa. The very girl turned out to be Yang Chi. Ming Chai had selected her due to the compatibility of her blood type with Major Aziz, increasing the chances of a successful heart transplant for him. As fate would have it, Ming Chai's car collided with the vehicle driven by Chung-hee, who was transporting Along. To add to the chaos, an ambulance carrying Tak and Choiji happened to pass by on the same road. However, instead of confronting Ming Chai, Chung-hee made a swift decision to flee from the scene. He was aware of the approaching traffic police, who started to give chase. The news quickly spread among the police, stating that Along's car had escaped and that Along himself seemed to be injured. After a tense journey, Chung-hee finally arrived at the location disclosed by Along. Carefully exploring the area, he stumbled upon an underground chamber used for confinement. Within its confines, Chung-hee discovered a chilling piece of evidence, a bracelet he had personally given to Yang Chi as a birthday present. Shortly after, the determined traffic officers caught up with both Chung-hee and Along. Sensing trouble, the policemen inspected Along's vehicle and discovered his severe injuries. They then confronted Chung-hee, intending to apprehend him. In a desperate act of self-defense, Chung-hee fought back, overpowering the officers before fleeing into the nearby forest. Despite the policemen's attempts to shoot him, Chung-hee managed to elude their pursuit. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Choi-ji received an update from the doctor about Tak's completed surgery. Tak's condition remained critical, and his survival hinged on successfully navigating the crucial week ahead. Filled with anger and guilt, Choi-ji realized the grave risk Tak had taken to assist him in the search for Yang-chi. In the midst of the chaos, Commissioner Rong received a report from his officers that Chung-hee, the Hong Kong man responsible for injuring Alung, was being pursued. Although Alung's car had been located, Chung-hee managed to slip away, leaving the authorities on a relentless chase to bring him to justice. Overwhelmed by his emotions, Choi-ji made his way to the warehouse, where the victims of human trafficking were held captive. There, he uncovered compelling evidence of Sasa's sinister operations. As he delved deeper into the investigation, the officers handed Choi-ji a cell phone discovered in Alung's abandoned car. To his astonishment, the cell phone belonged to none other than Yang-chi. To Choi-ji's surprise, it was revealed that Alung had ties to the dangerous human trafficking syndicate led by Sasa. Determined to uncover the truth, Choi-ji accompanied Alung in the ambulance, desperately hoping for his consciousness to return. Unfortunately, Alung remained unconscious, leaving Choi-ji even more distressed and determined to seek justice. Meanwhile, Chung-hee emerged from the forest and made his way towards the town of Pattaya. Driven by a burning desire for answers, he arrived at Jenny's house in search of clues. Recognizing the importance of Alung's cell phone, Chung-hee instructed Jeannie to call the numbers stored in its contacts, using the pretext of needing a kidney. In their desperate search for answers, they dialed numerous numbers, only to be met with silence. However, their luck changed when one call was finally answered. The person on the other end inquired about the source of the recommendation, and Jeannie revealed that it came from none other than Alung. To their astonishment, the person on the line turned out to be Sasa himself. Jenny then disclosed that she and her friend had been hired by Sasa to participate in a disturbing orgy organized for his colleagues. To corroborate their claims, Chung-hee displayed a photo found on Alung's phone, showing him alongside Sasa. Fortunately, Jenny also possessed crucial information about the location of Sasa's factory. Meanwhile, Commissioner Rong arrived at the hospital, accompanied by Ming Chai, the deputy mayor. Determined to take control of the situation, Commissioner Rong ordered the 2 police guards in Alung's room to leave. He then awakened the exhausted Choi-ji, insisting that he return home for some much-needed rest. Reluctantly, Choi-ji initially declined Commissioner Rong's insistence to leave the hospital, as he strongly suspected Alung's involvement in the human trafficking syndicate. However, Commissioner Rong reminded Choi-ji of their dinner appointment with Nai later that evening. Overwhelmed by his recent business, Choi-ji realized that he needed a break and decided to go home. He invited his wife Nai and his father-in-law Commissioner Rong to their favorite restaurant for a peaceful dinner. Little did Choi-ji know that during his absence from the hospital, a sinister figure entered and administered a lethal dose of poison to Alung. Commissioner Rong purposely diverted Choi-ji's attention away from the hospital to create the opportunity. As Nai took the stage to serenade the crowd with a song, Choi-ji received a devastating call from the police officer at the hospital, delivering the grim news of Alung's untimely demise. In a shocking twist, Commissioner Rong abruptly instructed Choi-ji to remain seated and cease his involvement in the case. Perplexed, Choi-ji couldn't comprehend why Commissioner Rong would forbid him. However, the truth soon unfolded before Choi-ji's eyes. Major Aziz required Yang-chi's heart for a transplant. Commissioner Rong divulged the sinister plan orchestrated by the Pattaya city government, who intended to frame Chung-hee for Alung's murder. As Commissioner Rong offered his apologies, the gravity of the situation sank in for Choi-ji. He couldn't fathom that Commissioner Rong was complicit in the elaborate conspiracy masterminded by the cunning Ming Chai. To further solidify their dark alliance, Ming Chai had even handed over incriminating evidence against Sasa to Commissioner Rong. Now Commissioner Rong faced the chilling task of eliminating Sasa to eradicate any trace of the Pattaya city government's involvement. In a tense and clandestine meeting at the Pattaya police station, Commissioner Rong divulged crucial information to his team. He revealed that Sasa, an ex-mercenary from Russia, was the mastermind behind the series of abductions that had plagued Thailand for years. The time for action had come, as Commissioner Rong issued a chilling order to eliminate Sasa and his henchmen. Moreover, he commanded his men to hunt down and kill Junkie, seeking to close the Yang Chi case once and for all. With a photo of Sasa in hand, Commissioner Rong painted a vivid picture of the notorious criminal. Sasa, who had been residing in Thailand for a decade, cleverly used his pork freezing business as a front for his nefarious deeds. His factory, teeming with armed men, posed a formidable challenge to law enforcement. Commissioner Rong emphasized the urgency of the operation, highlighting the importance of neutralizing this dangerous threat to society. Commissioner Rong placed an unexpected burden on Choiji's shoulders, tasking him with leading the perilous operation. Choiji found himself torn between his own desires and the weight of responsibility. Reluctantly, he accepted his fate and prepared to take charge. As the arrest operation commenced, Choiji and his team closely surveilled Sasa's factory, awaiting the opportune moment to strike. Amidst the intense operation, Choiji caught sight of Chung-hee infiltrating the factory. Something stirred within him, urging him to intervene. Despite Commissioner Rong's reminder that Chung-hee must also meet his end, Choiji couldn't bring himself to carry out the order. His emotions overwhelmed him, and he deliberately postponed the arrest operation, desperately clinging to a fleeting hope for a different outcome. Inside the depths of Sasa's factory, Chung-hee unleashed his formidable martial arts skills upon Sasa's henchmen. With each strike, his mastery became evident, revealing his true identity as a martial arts instructor in the Hong Kong police force. The room echoed with the sounds of bone-crushing blows as one by one, Sasa's men fell victim to Chung-hee's relentless assault. Witnessing the chaos, Sasa commanded his remaining men to capture Chung-hee. Undeterred by the odds, Chung-hee sought information about Yang Chi's whereabouts from one of Sasa's radio communications personnel whom he had defeated. However, instead of cooperation, Sasa taunted Chung-hee, igniting a raging fire within him. Fueled by anger, Chung-hee unleashed his fury upon Sasa's men, pummeling them relentlessly. Sasa, realizing the threat, emerged from the shadows with his formidable bodyguards, wielding deadly swords. In a daring act of defiance, Choiji confronted Commissioner Rong at the operation site, refusing to give the order to deploy the team. Determined to protect Chung-hee, Choiji mustered the courage to stand up against Commissioner Rong, who intended to eliminate Chung-hee. In a bold move, Choiji unleashed a powerful punch that connected with Commissioner Rong's face, asserting his defiance. Inside the factory, Chung-hee found himself being overwhelmed by Sasa's formidable bodyguards. As the battle raged on, Sasa seized an opportunity to attack Chung-hee from behind, wielding a menacing iron hook. The blow struck true, causing a grievous injury to Chung-hee and leaving him vulnerable. However, in a timely intervention, Choiji stepped in, drawing his weapon and unleashing a barrage of gunfire upon Sasa. His actions served to rescue Chung-hee from the clutches of his assailant. As the intense battle unfolded, Commissioner Rong issued the order for the police army to advance. With determination, Choiji swiftly removed the iron hook embedded in Chung-hee's leg, dispatching the three formidable bodyguards of Sasa. Choiji's exceptional martial arts skills proved invaluable in the fight, showcasing his mastery in combat. The stage was set for a showdown between Choiji and Sasa. Amidst the chaos, the police army stormed into the scene, unleashing tear gas and launching a fierce assault on Sasa's gangsters. Sensing the imminent danger, Choiji swiftly came to Chung-hee's aid, guiding him to a nearby room for refuge. Together, they managed to evade the onslaught of the police army, narrowly escaping their lethal attack. Choiji apologized to Chung-hee for the dire circumstances, explaining that the police army was intent on eliminating both Sasa and Chung-hee to erase any evidence. Choiji revealed to Chung-hee the shocking truth. Pattaya city government officials were involved in the scheme to take Yang Chi's heart and save the mayor. Overwhelmed with sorrow and guilt, Choiji broke down in tears, apologizing for the devastating situation. Chung-hee couldn't fathom why such misfortune had befallen his daughter. As he processed the information, he realized that the room they were hiding in was an illegal operating room. Determined, Chung-hee ventured to inspect the room, unaware that Saza was also lurking, ready to strike. The two engaged in a fierce and brutal fight, exhausting themselves with each blow. Meanwhile, in his search, Chung-hee meticulously examined each corpse cabinet until he reached the one at the far end. Summoning every ounce of strength and bravery, he mustered the courage to uncover the cloth shrouding the lifeless figure. To his utter despair, the corpse revealed the lifeless body of his beloved daughter, Yang-chi. Filled with immense guilt and remorse, Chung-hee deeply regretted being too harsh on Yang-chi. Overwhelmed with sorrow, he tenderly apologized to his daughter, pressing gentle kisses on her forehead one last time. To bring solace to his shattered heart, Chung-hee delicately placed a bracelet on Yang-chi's hand. Determined to bring an end to the unfolding tragedy, he steeled himself for what lay ahead. Meanwhile, Saza, driven by vengeance and the desire to eliminate Choiji, attempted a final assault. However, fate had other plans, as Saza met a tragic demise at the hands of Chung-hee. Shortly after, Commissioner Rong stormed into the room, aiming his gun at Chung-hee, prepared to pull the trigger. But Choiji intervened, urging Commissioner Rong to remember their shared identity as police officers. He sternly warned that if Commissioner Rong harmed Chung-hee, forgiveness would be forever out of reach. Finally, Commissioner Rong relinquished his weapon, his conscience prevailing. He expressed remorse to Chung-hee, confessing that he had been coerced by Ming-chai, who held Nai captive until their mission was accomplished. The weight of involving Choiji's family in this ordeal deepened Chung-hee's sorrow. Determined to bring it all to an end, he implored Choiji to lead him to Ming-chai's location. Together, they arrived at Major Edizis' house, where the lively atmosphere of his granddaughter's birthday party filled the air. To Choiji's surprise, Chung-hee handcuffed him to the steering wheel, expressing his gratitude for Choiji's unwavering support throughout their journey. Meanwhile, Major Edizis regained consciousness and expressed his gratitude to Ming-chai, who had remembered his granddaughter's special day. Amidst the celebration, the wounded Chung-hee discreetly retrieved his gun and stealthily made his way into Major Edizis' room. He locked the nurse in the bathroom and, with tears streaming down his face, listened to the sound of Major Edizis' heartbeat, a reminder of Yang-chi's heartbeat. Shortly after, Ming-chai entered the room to check on Major Edizis, only to be taken aback by the presence of Chung-hee. With a vengeful glare, Chung-hee expressed his intent to seek revenge against Ming-chai. In response, Ming-chai tried to maintain composure and claimed that his choice to involve Yang-chi was merely coincidental. However, Chung-hee shut the door to Major Edizis' room, creating an intense and confined atmosphere. He confronted Ming-chai and inquired about the well-being of Choiji's wife if he were to meet his demise. Ming-chai affirmed her safety, prompting Chung-hee to point his gun and pull the trigger, shooting Ming-chai. The sound of the gunshot jolted Major Edizis awake, while Chung-hee's mind raced with memories of the final video sent by Yang-chi. In that heartfelt message, Yang-chi acknowledged the mistakes people make in life. Though she felt disappointed in Chung-hee, she still loved him deeply and desired his respect for her choices. Despite their differences, she recognized that her father was the person she loved the most. In a heart-wrenching decision, Chung-hee chose to turn the gun on himself. Inside the car, Choiji was overwhelmed with sadness, witnessing the suffering of such a noble individual. The story drew to a close with a glimpse of Nae, who successfully gave birth to her child. Moral lesson from the story is, by embracing forgiveness, seeking redemption, and practicing compassion, individuals can break cycles of violence, heal wounds, and find solace amidst turmoil.